Hey guys, I'm Jason, the part-time farmer, and I've just spent the past month looking over about 50 websites and was pretty shocked at what I found. These farms are all making pretty much the same mistakes that are driving customers away and killing their sales. Now, I know some of you may be watching and thinking,
Well, I don't have a website yet. This doesn't apply to me.
but hold up. If you don't have a website and you are selling eggs, vegetables, meat, you're missing out on your best employee, one that works 24/7, never calls in sick, and can even tell your story while you're sleeping. When someone hears about your farm, what's the first thing they're likely going to do? They're going to Google you. And if all you have is a Facebook page or Instagram page and that's it, you're most likely going to lose them to the farm down the road that does have a website. We've built our own farm up to 6 figures annually in revenue, as well as we design websites for small farms. In doing both of those things, I've learned what works and what doesn't. And these 5 mistakes I'm about to show you are costing farms thousands of dollars every month. The good news is every one of these things are fixable. Plus, I've got a bonus mistake at the end that a lot of farms probably don't even know they're making. So whether you're looking to avoid these mistakes on your website or avoid making them when you build your first website, we've got you covered. Let's dive in. Real quick, we have a newsletter, the Sunday Solopreneur. This comes out every Sunday about 10 a.m. I talk about how to market your products on your farm, how to use social media and websites to grow your farm. I also talk about farming, raising cattle, chickens, pigs. We go through it all, and it's about building your farm business. Sign up now, and you also get a free PDF on how to use ChatGPT to write your social media, to write your newsletters, and to help write product descriptions for your products. This is free download for signing up for the newsletter. One newsletter every 1 to 2 weeks, no spam, I promise. Check it out. I think you'll get a lot of value in learning to grow your farm or homestead, and it's free. All right, back to the video. All right, mistake number 1, and this is too many calls to actions. Too many buttons in one place. Here's an example of a website that has too many calls to actions. There's just too many buttons. Sign up, shop here, learn more. They're all the same size and they're all screaming for attention. So you want to know what happens when you have this many buttons in one place? Nothing. When your customer's brain sees this, it just nothing. They're going to get overwhelmed and they're going to leave. It's like having 4 separate people yelling at you in the same time in a room, all telling you different things to do. And that's confusing, so we want to avoid that. And that's one of the big mistakes that I see. Now let's compare it to this. This is our website, Long Bottom Farm. One call to action, shop here, telling the customer to head over to our farm store. And that's it. It's clean, it's simple, and it's obvious. Now I'm not saying you can't have more than one button on your website. What I'm saying is that you need to have one overall goal of your website. Ours for Long Bottom Farm is that we want people to come to our farm store. That doesn't mean as we scroll down the page, there may be a button on Meet Your Farmers that will go to the About page. There may be a button on How to Shop, which talks about how to get our products. But the main overall feature is I want to get people to the store, and that's my main call to action. And that's why it's up top and by itself. It's essentially a hierarchy. You have one dominating, and then you have the rest supporting. There's so much coming at people these days that if you don't grab their attention and make it clear, you're going to lose them. So that's the fix. Pick one primary call to action. If you're selling CSA boxes, that's your call to action. Selling farm store products, shop here. That gets the prime real estate. Everything else should be smaller and clearly secondary, or at least not all jumbled into one area or on one screen where multiple buttons are visible at one time. Something with homegrown hosting that I do with my clients is I let them know that if you can't decide what your main call to action is, then neither can your customers. So if you have a website, approach it from that standpoint. It'll definitely help. It'll help your customers. It'll help you in getting more sales. All right, mistake number 2 that I see on websites that I've looked at is unreadable fonts and poor contrast. And this is pretty bad on just websites, but it's really bad on mobile sites, meaning if you're looking at it on your phone. So look at this font here. Is it a pretty font? Does it look nice? Yeah, it does. Beautiful, elegant. Would look great on a wedding invitation, but if you're trying to look at this, especially on a phone, forget about it. It's hard on the eyes, it's not easily skimmable, and it's not what you want for your website. And then here's the kicker, is that most of your customers are looking at your website on their phone. They might be standing in line somewhere, they may be on a lunch break, they may be in the bathroom. Regardless, a lot of people are checking out your website on their phone. So therefore, we need to make sure the contrast and the fonts are readable. Here's an example of poor contrast. This is a gray text on a white background. You might think it looks modern, it looks minimalist. Truth is, a lot of your customers over 40 are not going to be able to see this text clearly. Over 40. Just hit 50 actually. So, and I'm telling y'all this because I learned a lot of this the hard way from my website. I used to have these lavender colors that I really liked the lavender. I thought it was farmy. It actually, I thought, went well with the green. But the problem is there was a white text and it actually was hard to read. And I was blinded by, oh, this looks good, goes together. And I'm in a web design group for my website design business, and they pointed out that your contrast is really off. And I actually use a program. I've got a link to it below. I think it's colors.co, but anyways, there's a link below, and it's easy. You put in your font, you put in your colors, and it'll tell you poor, very poor, good, very good. And yeah, mine was pretty poor. So I learned the hard way. Luckily, I had some good eyes and some people that were honest with me tell me, hey, you need to change this. So I approach this very simply. Dark text on light backgrounds, light text on dark backgrounds. That's it. Oh, and obviously simple fonts that everyone can read. Your goal when you're setting up your site, it's not to win a design award or be the most beautiful site. Your goal is to get sales. And if people can't read it, if the contrast is bad, then the whole point of your website, it's not doing what it's supposed to do, no matter how good it looks. All right, mistake number 3. And this one, I hate seeing it every time, is no clear value proposition. Meaning you have text up there that the customer can read, and it's really offering them no value. Check out this farm's homepage. It was mine. This was Long Bottom Farm. Welcome to Long Bottom Farm. Pasture-raised meat and eggs. Okay. Pretty sure they know they're at Long Bottom Farm because there's a logo above it that says Long Bottom Farm. The customer's going to be thinking when they visit your website, why should I buy from you rather than a grocery store? Or why should I buy from your farm rather than the other farm down the road? In my example of my website there, I've told them nothing about what makes my farm special or why they should even care. So here's what visitors are thinking when they visit your website. What's in it for me? They're not going to care that you've been farming for 50 years unless you can tell them how that benefits them and why that should matter to them. So now let's look at Long Bottom Farm today. We've improved our website quite a bit. You can see from our header that we're trying to build trust. Then if you look at our subheader, it talks a lot about not so much our farm, it does, but it's about how our farm benefits the person reading about it. It makes them, the viewer, the hero of the story. Donald Miller's Story Brand, definitely a book I'd recommend that you check out, talks a lot about this, about making your customer the hero, not you. So no mystery meat, no grocery store guesswork, just clean, honest meat and eggs delivered to your door, picked up fresh at the farm 7 days a week. Order today. See the difference? You're making them the hero, you're addressing their fears, and you're telling them what you need them to do. Your value proposition should answer 3 questions in the first 10 seconds. What do you sell? Why is it better? And what should I do next? All right, mistake number 4, a mobile unfriendly design. Mistake number 4 is a big one. Your website does not work well on mobile. And before you say, well, my website's mobile friendly, let me ask you a question. When's the last time you actually tried to buy something as if you're the customer from your website on your phone? I've seen a ton of things where the buttons are too small, words are stretched across the screen that it makes it even hard to read, the menu doesn't work right, or you can't even find the menu, or even not being able to see prices clearly. A little over 70% of people are using their phones to look at your website. Not their computers, but their phones. That means if your website is not working perfectly on mobile, on a phone, as well as it is on actual website, then you're potentially losing 2/3 to 3/4 of your customers. Let's just hypothetically say you lose 15 customers a month on CSA signups or subscription boxes because the checkout is just not working well on your phone. Let's say that subscription or CSA box is worth about $600 over the lifespan of it, for the year. That means you're losing about $9,000 a year, and you may not even be aware that your mobile aspect of your website is not working well. And as a web designer, I can tell you that just because it looks good on a computer, mobile's an entirely different thing. You're taking something that's essentially a landscape view and you're turning it sideways. So there's a lot of compressions, there's a lot of adjusting that has to happen for a mobile site, even though your computer site looks perfect. A good mobile site should be fast, it should be easy to read, and it should be easy to navigate with your thumb. Big buttons, a clear text, an obvious menu. Here's a quick test for you. Grab your phone. If you have a website, order something from your website, just something cheap, just to see what the experience is. If you're getting frustrated, then most likely your customers are too. And it's just a good test to put yourself in the shoes of the customer. That will actually help you improve the experience for them by knowing what they're encountering. All right, mistake number 5, and this is probably one of the biggest ones, and yet it's one of the easiest ones to fix, and probably has one of the biggest impacts on your website, and that's having zero social proof. No testimonials, no reviews, no customers saying how awesome your products are. I come across a ton of sites that focus on their store, they get their homepage great, but there's no testimonials. There's no social proof that anyone's buying from them. And these days, I mean, you look at Amazon, they have a whole system. You look at eBay, it's a feedback system. Reviews are big and they go a long way on your website. If you have customers that have left you good reviews, other customers see that and it builds confidence. It can be personal for some viewers. A mom or a dad looking for good food for their kids, it helps a lot when they see other families talking about how happy they are with your products for their kids. Here's what we have on Long Bottom Farm. We've actually incorporated our Google reviews into the website. So they're scrolling across. Customers can see a ton of them. They can click on them and go right to the Google reviews. And with Homegrown Hosting, if you have Google reviews, that's what we do. We incorporate those into the website. If you don't have Google reviews, no worries, have a look here. Here's some testimonials we've gotten from Homegrown Hosting. These weren't Google reviews, these were just reviews that we got from customers, and we just put them into the website. So it doesn't matter how you get them, where you get them. What you want to do is make sure they're front and center so that other people know that your customers have had good experiences, and that will build confidence that they'll have a good experience too. Also, I'll mention this is very easy to do. With Homegrown Hosting again, we set up the email account, and in every email, provided there's a Google business profile set up, which is another thing we do, there is an option that says leave a Google review. If you're happy, and there's a link that takes the customer right to the review, they just type, that's it. Again, you're making it simple for the customer. If you have a website, that's a great way to get reviews for your farm is in your emails. Just put something down in the footer in the very bottom. If you're satisfied, if you're happy, if you'd like to leave a review, here's a link. We'd appreciate it. And that's all you need. All right, now I'm going to give you a bonus one. We're at the end, but this is an important one that I'm starting to come across more and more, especially with some of the software platforms getting big. And what I mean by that is that there are companies that build you a website, say on WordPress, Squarespace, Wix, and your farm domain lives on there. It's yours, essentially. There are other companies that create these software programs where when you look up there at the web address, it's not your farm. It's their company name / your farm. That HTTPS / whatever's after that, that's getting what I call SEO juice. That's getting credit in Google's eyes for any traffic that goes to that site. So if you have a farm store on one of these sites, that big site is actually getting credit for your farm store. And you're getting less credit, which means a farm down the road who has their own farm name up there is going to get more credit when Google looks at that. And the reason I keep mentioning Google is because they essentially own the internet. Part of what I do with Homegrown Hosting is make your website make Google happy. Because when you check all the boxes for Google, Google is more likely to recommend your site. If you hear of anyone talking about SEO, which is search engine optimization, this is kind of the science or the strategy of getting your website to show up high in the rankings when someone searches grass-fed beef near me, CSA vegetables near me. We're not naming your farm, we're just naming what the customer may be looking for, but we want your farm to show up. What we have to do, like at Homegrown Hosting, is associate the name of your farm, your domain address at the top, with what that customer's searching for. And a lot of these software companies don't do that because they put their name up in that domain, and they are getting credit for that. And a lot of farms don't even realize this. You know, one of the big tests I do is that if there's a button and you click that button, it may go to a different page, but up at the top where your address is, it should still be www.yourfarm or https / yourfarm. That should still be there. Then there should be something on the end that might say shop, might say about me, might say meet your farmers. But that first part needs to be your farm. If you're clicking a button and it's going to an entirely different website and then your farm's just tacked on to the end, that website is getting credit for your traffic in the eyes of Google. So something to really pay attention to if you're getting a website or you have a website. When you bookmark these sites or you share this with customers, are you sharing your actual farm site or are you sharing another company that's hosting your farm products? It's not that you can't do that, but you're not building reputation in the eyes of Google and growing your farm up in the search rankings. You're not building that authority. That authority is going to the company that your site is hosted on. You're basically doing free marketing for the tech company instead of building your own brand. So there you have it, 5 of the biggest website mistakes I see, and guess what? They're all easily fixable. Now I know some of you are thinking, God, this is a lot of work, and I'm not a web designer, and running a farm is hard enough without having to become a web designer too. So that's exactly why I started Homegrown Hosting. We build websites for small farms that actually convert visitors into customers. We handle all the technical stuff so that you can do what you do best, which is farming, and we also make sure that all the reputation, all the authority that you're building is yours. If you're thinking about changing your website or need a website, click on the link below, click on the Get Started page. There's a 5-minute questionnaire. I'll get back to you and we can chat, talk about what'll work for your farm, and I'd love to help you get your farm growing online. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Hope those tips helped. Leave your comments below, as your feedback really helps me know what you guys want and what else I can provide just from our experience running our farm. And we'll catch you next week. All right, talk to you later. Bye.